Update. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to make my future brother-in-law a groomsman? Original post. My fiancée 25 female and I 29 male are from the same hometown, but we never went to school together. I graduated high school the year before she started at the same high school. I did, however, go to school with her older brother 30 male. Her brother was a bully to me during my entire school career. He made fun of me for being fat and nerdy. He would call me racist names. They're Italian and I'm Indian, so he had a lot to say about that. And he was just overall just terrible to me. I figured out once we graduated I'd never see him again. And for the most part, I was right. I went off to college out of state and then ended up going to graduate school as well. During my first year in grad school, I was a TA for a class, and I noticed one of the girls who I thought was very pretty and smart, but obviously I couldn't go out with her because of her positions. Well, right after the semester ended, I ran into her at a coffee shop off campus, and we chatted for a bit. She ended up asking me for my number, and then she actually asked me out a few weeks later. We've been together ever since. At the start of our relationship, I had no idea who her brother was. They have a very common American last name, so it's not like that they were going to do anything. Eventually, we figured out we were from the same town and we went to the same high school, at which point she asked me if I knew her brother, and I said I knew of him, but not well. I probably should have told her what her brother had done to me at that point, but I was too embarrassed, so I kept it hidden. Things really came to a head when she introduced me to her family a year later. Her brother actually called me by the nickname that he used to bully me with, and then made a few semi-insulting remarks towards me again. My fiancée, girlfriend at the time, noticed and called him out on it, and he just explained that that was how we always talked before. I told her it wasn't a big deal since I didn't want to cause any drama. We got engaged 3 months ago. Recently we were talking about wedding plans and stuff with her family, and he asked me when I was going to ask him to be a groomsman and if I was doing anything special. I deflected, and after the call I asked her about it. She explained that her brother expected to be made a groomsman since she was making my little sister and her sister-in-law bridesmaids, and he made her a bridesmaid at his wedding. I told her why I didn't like her brother, and she said that she understood, but it was still right to make him a groomsman. I said no again, and she got pretty upset about it and said her parents were going to be mad. I was also annoyed, so I texted her family group chat to say that he wasn't going to be one under any circumstance. And now they're all mad at me. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I texted my brother-in-law and told him that I felt like I deserved an apology from him. He said he had nothing to be sorry for. I told him that I didn't even want him at the wedding, and the only reason he was going to be there was because he had to be. Everyone is even more angry with me now. I know I shouldn't have said that, but he really upset me with that. I feel like I have to fix this. Edit 2. So I showed my fiancée this post, and she had an actual panic attack reading through the comments. She kept repeatedly asking me if I was going to break up with her, and then she kept saying sorry. I think the comments telling me to reconsider the relationship and consider whether or not I wanted to actually have a future with her really got to her. She's yelling at her parents on the phone right now. I have no idea whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Edit 3. So my fiance's parents decided they wanted to talk to me after my fiancé yelled at them. Her mom apologized straight away and said that she had no idea we had such a history, and that although she believed his comments had always been wrong, she thought I was okay with it. Her dad also apologized but tried to talk about how family was more important and I should let this all be in the past. I said I couldn't, and he started getting really angry at me, and now all three of them are yelling at each other again, well, mostly my fiancée and her mom versus her dad, and I'm starting to feel really guilty about this whole thing. Now for the comments. This is definitely something that you shouldn't have made a secret at the beginning of the relationship. There's a couple options. Hash it out with the brother and see if he'll man up and apologize, or refuse to let him be a groomsman like you are now. Fair warning that when you marry someone, you're also marrying their family. Might want to think about this. This is what you need to read, OP. You're marrying into the family, and the brother is part of the package. You might still decide to not make him a groomsman, but you should indeed talk to the man. I'm still going with not the a-hole, but it might be worth sitting down with him to see if you and he can work things out. If he sees that he was a bully and if he apologizes, and if he assures you that he will be on his best behavior, then perhaps you will rethink your decision. But even if you did none of this and decide not to have him in the wedding party, you would not be the a-hole. OP says, I first read this comment and I thought, yeah, sure. Maybe he has changed. I should give him the opportunity to apologize. So I decided to text him and tell him that I would really appreciate an apology from him so that we can move past this together. He decided to respond by saying that he had nothing to apologize for. Now for the update. So I think things have been mostly resolved and I wanted to give an update on the situation. I decided to take some of the advice that I received and to finally stand up for myself. This was all a bit too intense for me, and her mother reached out to arrange a family meeting, which happened last Saturday. Her mom actually said she wanted to clear the air since she wanted her family to be able to spend Easter together, and that included me as well, even if I don't celebrate Easter. So on Saturday, we went over to her parents' house. It was just us since I asked to speak with them without her brother around first. Basically, we sat them down and told them that there was no way her brother was going to be a groomsman, and right now, he was pretty close to being disinvited completely. Her dad started a protest, but my fiance backed me up, and then I just went through with everything he had ever said or done to me, and then straight up asked him, if our children, your grandchildren, told you someone treated them like this, how would you feel? That shut him up, and I think he realized that our kids were going to look like me and could go through a lot of the same things. That got him on our side, so when her brother arrived, all three of them basically expressed to him how disappointed they were in his behavior. Honestly, I was surprised by how completely her parents flipped. And even though it was disappointing how they all seemed to disregard the blatant racism he showed me for so long, it was really nice to have their support now. He got pretty mad that everyone was ganging up on him. But when my father-in-law said that if he didn't learn to treat me like family, he was going to be the one that's kicked out and not me, that really got him taking things seriously. My in-laws are fairly wealthy, so I think he was afraid of being disowned and disinherited, even though I doubt that that would have actually have happened. He ended up apologizing, and although I don't know if it was sincere, it still felt pretty good to finally get that from him. I told him that he was still invited to the wedding, and although he wasn't going to be a groomsman, I did hope that we could move past things. He seemed to agree. Easter was pretty good the day after, and he didn't say anything even remotely snarky. Hopefully things stay that way. He's going to come over to my parents' place with her parents for Easter next weekend. So we'll see how he behaves then. Thank you to everyone who gave me such great advice. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for demanding my fiance stop teaching her kids bad manners? Plus update. Original post. Hi everyone, using a throwaway because I don't want this on my main, but I would like an outside opinion. My fiance Lola and I have been together for 5 years, engaged for a little over a year, and we have twins, boy and a girl 2.5. Our wedding is in 2 months. Lola usually takes care of feeding the kids in the morning since I work early, and so I never noticed this until recently. I took a week vacation from work just to spend time at home with my kids and Lola, and started to notice something that bothered me. Lola has been teaching her kids bad table manners and sees nothing wrong with it. I hadn't noticed this before, as they don't eat this type of food, lunch, dinner, and snacks, or eat it all the time, so I guess I just missed it as I wasn't at home, or she fed them other things on the weekends. This morning I was helping Lola make breakfast, and then I got the kids ready while she brought their food out for them. And as they were getting ready to eat, I noticed they didn't have forks, spoons, so I told Lola I would get them, and she said there was no need. I watched instead, and she gave the kids tortillas that she ripped apart into pieces, and they were using their bare hands to grab the food, using the pieces of tortilla. I asked her what she was doing and that she should be giving them utensils, but she seemed shocked that I was concerned and said that's how they always eat it. I told her that she was teaching them bad manners, and making them think that it's okay to just grab food with their hands. She told me they do that anyway when they have chips or grapes or tacos and pizza, and listed a bunch of other snacks and fast food that you eat without utensils. But I pointed out that those things are usually made to be eaten quickly or on the road, like fast food, so utensils aren't needed. She said that I was being offensive by calling her way of eating gross and saying it was having bad manners. But I do think it's gross to see someone grabbing at food with their bare hands like that. She said that she grew up eating like that and would always use tortillas to eat things like eggs or meat, rice, and beans, and that it wasn't gross because she always made the kids wash their hands before they ate. I ended up giving my kids forks for them to eat, which they didn't want to use, which made me even more frustrated with her because now they're used to this. Lola has been really annoyed the rest of the day and wouldn't let me help her with lunch, and earlier she was walking around the house speaking to somebody, probably her sister in Spanish, about me, and I'm starting to feel a bit annoyed. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Wow, lots of replies quickly. They seem to be mixed so far, but I will add in that the kids can use the utensils and use them with foods like soups, pastas, etc. I just fear that allowing them to continue using their hands will make them used to it. Now for the comments. You are the a-hole. I'm guessing Lola is of Latin American descent. It's very common in that culture to use a tortilla as the utensil, just as it is in many other cultures to use bread or something as a utensil. You're being insensitive to her culture. This person also says you are the a-hole. I really want to give him the benefit of the doubt and think that he is just being ignorant to other cultures, and the comment about bad manners is not coming from a place of racism. But I have read some of his comments and it looks like it's a bit of both. P.S. Next time, don't marry someone from another culture if you're not ready to embrace their culture. This person says exactly. OP has just basically called his wife's whole culture gross, despite them washing their hands first so it's perfectly clean, because it's now how he's used to it looking. I couldn't be rolling my eyes any harder. Also, she's right. If it's gross to use a tortilla to eat things, how is it not gross to have a taco or a burrito? That is literally using a tortilla to eat something. Also, what about a burger, pizza, or a sandwich? Using bread to hold the other food and eating it with your hands. What about toast? Is toast gross? And eating an apple with your hand? And then, of course, every single cracker and snack food. All cookies are gross, etc., etc. But no, sandwiches, burgers, pizza, crackers, cookies, ice cream cones, etc. aren't gross because that's what's normal, right? People eat. Touching tortillas, though, that's gross, since those, insert slur here, do it. Those dirty, dirty Hispanics, like OP's kids. Dude, can you not see how you sound? There are a million things that are culturally appropriate to eat with your hands in the Western culture, but it's gross when other cultures do it. Yes, you are the a-hole. And if you're another race or culture other than white, it's just as bad. I use that as an example, but any culture looking down on another as inferior and dirty just for being different is a super bad look. Now for the updates. Update 1. Hello again. I'm hoping so. Follow all the rules so this doesn't get deleted or anything, but I wanted to post a quick update because I got a big fat reality check yesterday. I admit that at first I was annoyed and defensive that everyone was ganging up on me and saying I was racist and an absent parent, etc. However, surprisingly enough, it was the comments who were trying to defend me and somewhat agreeing with me that ended up changing my mind. At first, I was mainly focusing on the 2 to 3 comments in my defense, but as I read more of them, I started to realize that they were sounding racist, disrespectful, and then I realized the rest of you were right, and that is what I sounded like in my post. There were a few comments saying something like, in America, that is not normal. But we are not in America, and hearing people say that to me while defending me was shocking to say the least. I don't want to be one of those people who goes around telling people that they need to speak a certain language or do a certain thing because of where they happen to be. I showed my wife the post and she saw a lot of your disrespectful comments agreeing with me, calling her way of eating unhygienic, and she said they sounded like me, which made me realize I was an a-hole. For those asking if I'd ever seen my wife eat like that, no, I hadn't. And I asked her why she never did, even though she said that she grew up doing it. She told me how a few months into our relationship, I had made a comment about someone in a film being poor and weird for eating food with their hands. I do remember having said this, and it's something that I should not have said. She said that is why she didn't eat like that in front of me, but she thought I wouldn't mind it if our kids did, as they are toddlers, and toddlers generally eat with their hands. I'm doing a lot of self-reflection and have apologized deeply to my wife. She said that she needs some time to think things through after seeing the post and my comments as well as everyone's comments, which I fully respect. Update 2. Hi everyone, I've been with my fiance Lola for almost 7 years now, and we've been engaged for 2 of those years. We have twins together, male and female 3, and I thought we were happy. About a year ago, we had a small fight or disagreement about how she was raising her kids, but after receiving some feedback from Reddit, I was able to see that I was wrong and I was being incredibly offensive towards my wife. This was on a different account that I lost the information for, but everyone was very helpful, so thanks again. I apologized and she seemed to accept my apology, and I thought things were back to normal after all of that. She seemed to be her normal self again, and we didn't argue or disagree about that topic anymore. In fact, we hadn't had even a minor disagreement for months after that, and I thought we were happy. Well, we were originally planning to get married last year in October of 2023, but she ended up changing her mind and saying she wanted to push back the wedding a bit. I was a bit confused, and she wouldn't really elaborate on why. She just said it was stressful to plan a wedding with toddlers, and she needed some time, so I agreed. Well, she just dropped a bomb on me out of nowhere a few days ago that she randomly stated that she doesn't think she wants to get married anymore. This was heartbreaking to hear. Of course, and I said that we should sit and talk it out. She ended up telling me that she doesn't think we are compatible after 7 years, and that she thinks that we should go our own ways and co-parent. I'm devastated. I pressed for more information like what made you realize this and why now? And she basically said that she felt like I didn't really show her and that I didn't want to know her. I thought this was ridiculous. I know everything about her. I know her favorite color, movie, and song. I know her favorite food. I can read her body language extremely well. I do know her, and we've been together for years. She said a few more things, and apparently she's been thinking over our relationship since that fight happened a year ago. She said it was eye-opening for her, and that when I let her see the post, and she looked through all the comments, she realized things about me that she had swept under the rug for years and blown off as one-time issues. She went on a whole spiel about how all these things she had realized about me and how she didn't think we should be together anymore. I don't even know what she means. I think I zoned out for most of her rant because I was so blindsided and hurt by this that I was trying not to break down in tears. I offered to go to couples counseling and individual counseling, but she said it was too late, and that I should have done that or offered that a year ago when this all blew up. I don't even know what to do now, and I think it's just a bit unfair for her to pull all that on me. Just because I didn't think of therapy after a minor disagreement a year ago, I'm no longer someone she wants to marry? That's insane. I don't know what to do. How can I get her to give me another chance to see that I still love her and we can make this work? What can I say to make her change her mind? I'm so lost and I don't know what to do. Edit. I think it might be a good idea to link the original post with the details of our disagreement, as some people are asking for the details and accusing me of avoiding the question, so the post can be found there. Edit. I feel that you all have given me a lot to think about and reflect on. Thank you. I will no longer be replying to comments. Update 3. Hi everyone. This will likely be the last post I make about this situation, as everything seems to be final now. This one is made with my ex's permission, and she will read it over beforehand, as she thinks I'm an unreliable narrator. First of all, we have broken up. She gave me back the ring even though I said that she didn't have to and she could pawn it and keep the money. She didn't want to do that and gave it back to me. I think I will pawn it myself and give her the money since she has moved out of the house. She moved in with her brother and his partner, who was actually able to get her a job where he works, and she is apparently starting next week. We will split our time with the kids since she said she was able to get shifts that align with my schedule. I have a pretty flexible schedule, but I just prefer to work the same days and times every week. So we will trade off the kids when each of us is at work, and we are going to split the weekends. We are going to get a custody agreement, but we talked about it and agreed to 50-50. And we are both going to be cooperative as I don't want to stress her out, and I do want to see my kids. I will also be pushing up on Mexican culture so that I am able to participate in things with my children, and I am looking to take some Spanish classes as well so I can communicate with them in both languages. I showed my wife, editor's note, this is a mistype by OOP, the last post the day after I made it, and she read it over and read all my comments and a lot of the other comments. She took like 2 days to do this. Afterwards, she said that she wanted to talk and asked me if I was serious when I claimed that I thought she wanted to break up because of the one fight about food. And I said yes, because I was serious and did think about that, and she said that she couldn't believe me. I asked her to elaborate, and she got very mad and asked me if I was really so oblivious to my own actions. I realized that I probably have been oblivious to my own actions and that I've been selfish, and she kind of blew up and said something and asked me if I needed an effing list so I could see all the shit that I've been doing. I told her I would appreciate it if she could communicate some of the issues, and there was no need for a list, but she said that a list would probably lessen the chances of me losing focus while she went on a rant. Ouch, but deserved. We ended up having a long talk about it, and she wanted me to include this in the post, so I will add it below. Note that these are just things that happened since the fight about the food. When one of her nieces had a quinceañera, I kept calling it Sweet 16. She said that she explained to me multiple times that they are different, had different meanings, different cultural significance, and had different practices. She said I still called it Sweet 16 when I would talk to people about it or mention it. She said I also embarrassed her at the party because she felt that I was making fun of how her relatives were dancing. I, to this day, sometimes call her Spanish instead of Hispanic, Latina/Mexican. She said there's a big difference, and me slipping up and forgetting is BS. When she was pregnant with the twins, I told her she could give them the names that are pronounced in Spanish so that her non-English speaking family could say them easily, and also since they are half Mexican. We agreed that she could, so long as I could choose which name was final. She said that I have not held up my end of the deal, and that when we were at Christmas with her family in December, I obsessively corrected her family members when they pronounced her daughter's name, and according to her, I did this more than 6 times that night, and she kept keeping count. I didn't let her feed her kids some Mexican stew that she had made because it looked spicy. I genuinely thought it was. She said that she told me that she hadn't used spicy peppers, but that night I fed them something else before the soup was done, and she said I disrespected her and her parenting skills. She feels like she is not allowed to listen to her music or any Spanish music because I will complain or change the song. She said that she can only listen to her music when I'm not at home, otherwise I will always change it within a few seconds. She said that there were other smaller examples, but these are the bigger ones that she had already mentioned or brought up before, and nothing had changed. When I asked her why she stayed with me for so long or why she didn't mention these things more, she said that she's always had low self-esteem, and she thought that I was a good person and partner other than these things, so she always talked herself out of a breakup, but she was just over it now. The things that she listed off really opened my eyes and made me realize how selfish and unaware that I've been, and I know that I need to change. I apologize to her, and I know it won't change her mind, but that's okay. I just want her to know that I do regret my actions. I'm not going to ignore or gray rock her like some people were suggesting, as I want to remain amicable for our children. I want us to have good communication, as I don't want our kids to grow up with parents who hate each other and can't have a simple conversation. Thank you to everyone who left comments, especially the ones who were harsh. I also want to correct a typo in my last post where I said, We were going to get married in October of 2023. It should have read October of 2022. That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.